Go.
Yo, folks, what's the crack? All the crew here at the Midlife and Ice podcast. Episode 11, kicking ass, well done. So, tonight we have a bit of an agenda. We're going into Comic-Con and we're going... Now, but first I want to introduce Kieran back into the group.
Yeah.
He was in
I'm on
hiatus.
hiatus. One of my many fans stole me away, and I was let out then finally the other day. So, no, I went on holidays to Berlin and Budapest and a few other things to sort out, but I'm back now.
Right, awesome. And so Sophie's here today as well. Woo!
Yeah.
Hello.
We finally got a guest.
Well, you haven't finally many guests.
Yeah, we've many guests.
Your favourite guest?
I'm a fan already.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So they went
Early on.
Everyone see Deadpool this weekend. I mean, it's the biggest movie at the moment.
Yeah.
We're supposed to like talk to each other and the camera just watches it.
Yes. Stop it.
It was very good.
Yes. Yeah. Very good.
Not perfect, as
Yeah.
I thought the story could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
But overall, I came out solid, very solid.
Are we giving away any spoilers though?
I can't because it's the.
But I think Comic-Con was on this weekend, so I think that kind of helped it as well. Because
Right.
like people probably dressed up as Wolverine, because Wolverine is obviously one of the biggest characters in the
Yeah.
And the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman.
They've been friends for like
amazing.
20 years. So you know.
So it's a good movie.
It's good.
It's definitely worth seeing.
I mean, it's worth seeing.
I'd say probably on a par with the first one. I love the first one.
The first Deadpool?
The first episode. The second one, I wasn't overly impressed with the second one. It's good, but could have been better.
Yeah.
So it's doing really well in the cinema.
Yeah.
What was Comic-Con like? Who else was at Comic-Con?
Oh, there was a big spoiler release.
Yes.
Release. Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MC universe as a villain. Now, I mean, there's a bit of controversy. People think, I mean, it's a bit of a letdown that he's back. I mean,
Yes, it has to make some money somehow.
I know.
I would have preferred to go down the route of the villain that is coming in, just an iconic. He's an iconic character. Go with a different actor.
Dr. Doom or
Dr.
Dr.
Doom
Doom.
in the new Avengers movie, which I think is coming out in 2027.
Here's the thing I was saying, like Marvel Jesus, is it Ryan Reynolds or is it Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man? Like,
No, Marvel Jesus is Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean,
because Ryan Reynolds is Marvel Jesus, Deadpool. Like,
I mean, the way the dude he does, he wrote it and produced it. I mean, he came up with this concept. Deadpool, yeah.
Well,
I mean, he's a genius. And
It's
actually,
based on the comic.
yes, it is. And actually, this is what we're going to lead into. So, Ryan Reynolds is actually coming from. He originated a sitcom called Two Guys and a Girl, and he is. When I saw that show, it is a genius show. I mean, he is the funniest thing.
Very young in it as well. That was late 90s,
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s. Nathan Fillion, I don't know if you heard from, he's in as well. The show Firefly. But anyway, so actually the topic we're doing is sitcoms and the evolution of sitcoms.
Well, just could we explain to people what actually sitcoms are? Because when you said it to me, I was like, how can I do Sopranos? And you're like, that's not a sitcom.
Where are you getting Sopranos?
Because I didn't know what a sitcom was. Sopranos was one of the best shows around.
Sitcoms are like Happy Days, Mork and Mindy.
Set with different characters and a different kind of. There's different genre of sitcoms.
Yeah.
Well, you said,
But also a sitcom can
class,
class. A sitcom can class under sketch shows as well.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's talking about Blackadder and stuff.
Blackadder. The Office. The Office.
Yes.
Steve Urkel.
Steve Urkel was a famous character in Family Matters 80s show. I've been a massive sitcom fan for years. Like at a young age, I used to love watching some others. Do you have them? Oh, Betty!
And actually, he is a comedy genius.
Just the innocence of it.
Michael Crawford, for him to come, like I couldn't believe he did the podcast.
Explain it. Who's the genius?
Michael Crawford.
And what was
He played
his physical comedy.
Physical comedy was brilliant.
Frank
He
Spencer.
played him and Betty were a married couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Frank Spencer was the type of person he was getting into trouble all the time, and
It was simple, but it worked at the time.
He was accident prone, so he was making in kind of situations he was in, like he couldn't control his
like a kind of what's the your man the Mask and the Jim Carrey, so that kind of physical humor where you fall over and you get the face expressions, all that kind of stuff.
And also Michael Richards as Kramer, who was in the show Seinfeld. Seinfeld. But then going ahead, like I used to love, like at a young age, I was watching like the likes of Only Fools and Horses. And
Only Fools and Horses.
It hooked me quickly. I will say though, towards the end of Only Fools, they did hour-long episodes. and it just wasn't
I mean,
funny.
there's a great scene in that one where he's talking on the bar, and then he's leaning over,
Yeah.
and he falls
funny,
over
it's
like
funny, I do.
But obviously, the funniest scene in that one is the funeral, or is it the Batman and Robin? They're coming out.
Yeah.
And then
I
the
actually,
church.
there's loads, but the chandeliers is a really
Yeah,
early
the
episode. I think
chandelier,
it's absolutely
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
the way they do it. But
yeah.
the comic timing
Yeah.
of the actors with that is unbelievable. The big mistake Only Fools and Horses made though was it ended in 1996, 1997.
Well, no, I think it ended before that. They came back with a special in 1996.
No, there was no special, no.
Okay.
They came up with a few hour-long specials, then finally the Trotters
They won the
discovered
lottery.
the
What
what
next year, Rodney will be millionaires.
Yeah.
And then the last line was, this time Rodney, next year we'll be billionaires. They shouldn't have.
Is that right?
No, they ended like that, going a high note, don't come back for 3 or 4 special
Yeah.
characters. And that's the problem with some comedies. They the likes of Frasier, for example, was a very good show. They brought it back, and I'm still undecided how that got a season 2.
Yeah. I mean, people. I think those kind of things they kind of work. I mean, at the first season, I mean,
Characters are finding their rhythm,
I
yeah.
think because it's being reinvented and it's back in home. I mean, back in Boston. And I think because the first season they want to see what happens. It was 10 episodes. They want to see how the second season is going to.
There was a comedy everyone obviously knows, Happy Days, and had the Fonz.
Yeah.
Was a very iconic
See,
comic
yeah,
character.
no, I never watched that.
Happy Days. But here's an interesting one for you. There was an episode of Happy Days where the Fonz literally jumped over a shark. Season 5, episode 1. Now, I didn't watch all of it.
So like there was no stunt double, like he actually did that.
But here's the joke. People thought that Happy Days went downhill after he did that, and that's coined the phrase "jump the shark."
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Happy Days. No, 80s sitcoms like Cheers is very popular. I did like Cheers.
Mork and Mindy was actually
Mork and Mindy.
was a spin-off of Happy Days because
Yeah.
Robin Williams came in. He was talking to Fonzie in one of the episodes in Happy
Oh,
Days.
really?
Yeah. So so that kind of got its own spin-off.
We've had enough years. I mean, not had enough years. But when that's Sophie and now have a conversation.
Yeah, sorry.
Because like yous are just
Dominating the conversation.
They're not, but these are obviously machines, which is our TV knowledge, like a fairness.
I do want to say an interesting story in a few minutes about the father. When I get back to father.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sophie. Sorry.
So, because we're all different generations in a sense, like, you know, you're 43, me can be 42, like, in the next couple of months, and Sophie's a younger generation.
You're 42.
Well, you're 40, what year are you? Like 42 or 43?
I'm 43. Nearly 43.
Ooh, a year difference.
The point I'm trying to make is the generational differences. We all see different shows, different perspectives. Like,
sorry.
So this is obviously the midlife nation, so we're all
we do get a bit excited, guys.
We're all coming from a different kind of angle, like. So I'm just I'm asking Sophie, like, Sophie, can you, do you know any kind of shows that you're kind of we're into, like, you know, and sitcoms,
I used to love Full House, and I used to love Different Strokes.
Full House was good. Yeah, John Stamos.
And what were they about? Like, was there any favourite characters or favourite episodes, or?
Well, yeah, John Stamos is probably my favourite.
And what's him? There was another guy. What's him? Bob Saget.
Yeah.
He's in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And your one. Who was your one? And she got fined.
Oh
recently.
yeah, I know.
Laurie Loughlin.
Yeah, Laurie Loughlin.
Yeah.
And also the Olsen twins.
Yeah. The Olsen twins. And I loved Family Matters as well. Steve Urkel.
I didn't really see that one. That one kind of passed me by, but
What I liked about
nothing's past me, boy.
What I liked about Different Strokes is they did touch on some sensitive
they did,
issues a lot.
I heard, yeah.
It wasn't the old simple, a storyline every week.
It was a show of its times. Was it like
it was like they focused on hitchhiking, and the Arnold character and his sister Kimberly got kidnapped. They focused on child abuse. Pete was the bike guy.
Oh.
Sexually assaulting. It doesn't actually happen.
Pretty controversial topics.
But they have they have the laughter track in the background. And it doesn't suit. It doesn't suit like.
So what was trying to like? It was trying to be too serious, and I was taking the humor out. Like kind of taking the tension out, like in a sense. Like
I think Arnold was like these kids were like Arnold and his friend. What's his friend's name again? I can't remember anyway.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
Was 12 years old, so it was quite.
You were 12?
No, Arnold and his friend were 12. Family Matters, I actually was one of those shows which I didn't watch at the time, but watched loads of clips on YouTube, and there was a funny character in that. Sophie, you liked?
Yeah, no, Steve Urkel, I liked him. And I used to love like Keenan and Kel.
Keenan and Kel and Drake and Josh.
That's Nickelodeon now, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Drake and Josh.
Family Time.
Actually, another one was good on your time was California Dreams.
Yeah, California Dreams. So.
What did you say there?
Family Ties.
Family Ties, very,
They
very good.
actually
yeah.
had Tom Hanks playing the uncle of Michael J. Fox, and actually, Michael J. Fox. I mean, he kind of that made him the show.
Yeah.
He was fantastic.
I know. I mean, he
so much energy.
Yeah. Although,
but actually, funny enough, the energy was one of the symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It kind
His facial expressions. If you look at it at the time I was watching it, I didn't even know about it. I was so young watching it. When you look at it now, he even goes to admit that yes, that he was showing non-vacant expressions sometimes. That's very interesting. Yeah.
I mean, they had some.
Maybe topic for another day. We go into the analysis on that character. You know.
Yeah. Any other comedies? I'm gonna mention one in a minute.
But they're from the 80s.
80s, 90s.
I mean, Taxi. Taxi was the one.
Do you know, I actually never watched Taxi when it was on. I watched repeat stuff.
They had so many great actors in that. Like Christopher Lloyd was in there. He played a guy who didn't know what he was doing half the time. He was kind of a bit weird.
And Andy Kaufman
played
a problem guy.
Andy Kaufman is the comic genius.
Yeah.
Who's trying to think. Loads of people. Danny DeVito was in it. And he was like the boss, the big boss man. Yeah. I mean, so many of those.
He was actually a really good character as well.
I never watched any of them shows. Like,
Tony Danza.
Shows like you, I cannot remember any of them.
Tony Danza, of course. Tony Danza was there before he went up to you.
Who's the boss? Who's the boss?
Who's the boss?
Who's the boss? Another one.
I mean, you know.
One of my favourite comedies, it's actually Irish, is Father Ted.
Father
Ted. You said Seinfeld was your favourite comedy.
That's my favourite American. That's probably Seinfeld's probably my favourite comedy of all time. But Father Ted's up there.
And then you said Curb Tuesday was your favourite comedy.
That's up there. That's up there. I'm gonna get into that. But Graham Linehan.
I never liked Father Ted, and I never liked Podge and Raj either.
I did like the comedy in Father Ted. Google is just, and it's just the concept was done really well. I did feel that they did peak in season 3.
Well, they only went on for, they only did 3 seasons.
Yeah, they came back for the Christmas.
Oh, that was the last one.
Oh no, Christmas special was actually before season 3.
Passed away.
Before Dermot Morgan, but the comedy was brilliant. Actually, Graham Linehan, who's the creator of Father Ted, one day I sent him a Twitter when he was early on the Twitter days, and I got into it, and I asked him what comedy were you influenced by, and he said to me that Seinfeld, which is a very popular comedy in America. And actually, funny enough, Seinfeld became more popular in Ireland and UK after it finished in America, which is bizarre, like, you know. But Graham Linehan said that Seinfeld loved it so much and they used a lot of gags in it. And they actually, when you do look at some Father Ted episodes, quite subtly, they actually use a lot of jokes that Seinfeld used. Seinfeld, is, in my opinion, is like the epitome of the sitcom. I actually started watching it when I was 14 years old and got hooked on it immediately. I can see why it's not for everyone because of the humour.
The humour, yeah,
Jewish New York humour.
Yeah, it's a bit of...
George Costanza and Kramer, they're all great, but Jason Alexander portrayed.
Yeah, I know, he was, but
he's just too funny.
He's another one who gets into those kind of situations you can't really get out of.
And Kramer is. Did you watch Seinfeld, Sophie? No, you should watch it, and it's actually on Netflix. Kramer is just off the wall. He's just so good. The brains behind it was Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld, and then Larry David went on to do we're actually going to get into mockumentary style sitcoms, which is basically no laughter track, no live studio audience, and it's off the cuff. Curb Enthusiasm was non-scripted.
So it's kind of it's unfiltered, like it's like ad lib, like it's basically an audience. There's no audience. You just kind of go sit in the stage and then just talk a conversation. Like
when Seinfeld was NBC, some things were filtered that Larry David didn't like. So when he got to do Curb Enthusiasm HBO, which is I really recommend, another very funny show. Curb Enthusiasm went on for 13 seasons.
It took a break though, didn't it, for a while?
Oh, there was a few hiatus. But that's another thing we're going to get into. The mockumentary style sitcoms, the best ones are probably The Office with Ricky Gervais and Steve Carell. Derek was very, very good as well.
But I think the Steve Carell went on a bit too long. I think they kind of stopped.
Oh no, they should have ended after season 7. The last 2 seasons were a train wreck. Really watch the American Office. Don't bother watching the last, especially the last season. It's not funny at all.
For British sitcoms, they don't really last. They only go on for about 3 or 4. Whereas
the reason.
Said he only ever does 2 seasons, but Afterlife was so popular that he made an exception and did a season 3, but he only ever does 2.
Yeah.
But because people kept asking to see more of Afterlife, they did.
Here's an interesting one for you. What you notice, there's more episodes with any sitcom in America compared to the UK, because there's a bigger writing team in America compared to the UK. I did feel like it was nice seeing the authenticity of the mockumentary style, but it did lose some change. It changes the dynamic of the show.
So let's kind of break it down now. So we had the sitcoms that we had you're saying like Seinfeld is the kind of the
king.
The king is saying.
In my opinion,
I wouldn't say the king. I think there was stuff that came before like Taxi, and I think that was kind of bigger.
So what's the timeline?
Seinfeld was the genre of the king of 90 sitcoms.
90 sitcoms.
No, I think
Taxi was that the 80s though?
Taxi was late 70s. Seinfeld started late 80s.
Late 80s Seinfeld, yeah.
And what was the other ones? What's
like there's like Friends then in the 90s.
Friends,
and then Will and Grace as well.
Happy Days. When was Happy Days?
Happy Days was early 70s.
Early 70s to mid 83.
No,
went on for 11 seasons.
Yeah. And then Mork and Mindy as well.
Another great show I actually loved from the 80s. Sort of like the Wonder Years.
That wasn't really.
Genuinely can't remember these shows.
I just loved the whole relationship between Kevin and Winnie and how the storyline.
It's not a comedy, right?
It was subtle humour. It was subtle humour. It was a black comedy.
What are you cribbing about?
What?
You're cribbing. You're much under your breath. What did you say?
Nothing.
You're cribbing out when he says, okay, will say something.
No, I didn't.
It would be classed as a black comedy, yeah.
So the kind of dark, like kind of dark.
Yeah, there's a lot of dark elements and storylines.
Okay.
Some, not all.
What show was that?
The Wonder Years.
Wonder Years. Okay.
I have to be like thinking another, like some of the stuff back then. Doesn't matter what sitcom it was, you wouldn't get away with today now.
No. Everything is.
Apart from, it's always.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, or do you think it's like? No, say for example.
It depends the content, and it also depends how.
Yeah, like what you actually say and what you mean, and how you say it and stuff like that. But
like there's an episode of Seinfeld basically where I'm not gonna. They do a bet basically who can get on the. Larry David came up with this episode in season 4 called Contest. It's based on what happened in Larry David's true life. They put a bet to find out who's the first person the first person who masturbates, and then they're out of that contest. It's a contest that Larry and his pals did when they were in college.
Okay.
Okay. You wouldn't get away with that.
This is 90s though.
This is 1992. But the genius of that episode was they didn't use the word masturbation. They used master of my domain.
Yeah, but isn't it funny though? That's like The Simpsons. Like when you watch The Simpsons as an adult and you get certain things, but when my kids watch things,
Simpsons died like 25 years ago.
You don't get the innuendo.
When it was very good.
You can do it right though.
Yes,
like,
you can.
Like it's how you say it and stuff like that.
I'll give you an example. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This is crazy. One episode is banned on Netflix.
Oh, of what?
It's an American comedy called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Again, it's done with the camera and there's no laughter track.
And who's in that one? Did you realize Bob pops up again in that one?
Another very, very funny show. But I have to be honest, Nick. You'd agree the last couple of seasons not
funny.
Yeah, not as funny.
Fairness. They did a show. They actually did 4 episodes in Ireland, but I mean, they say they're not. I don't know if it was actually filmed.
And the episode which was banned on Netflix was Lethal Weapon spoof, where it's one guy.
Blackface. Yeah.
Paint yourself.
It's funny. It's funny. But it's funny. But
it's funny, like
I just think that a lot of people become very sensitive.
No, it's like, but it's not that. Lots of people become very sensitive. We are who we are. Like we have a different mindset because we grew up in a different era.
Yeah.
And we're different. We're older.
Generation was X or Y. They're the ones that.
This is what we're talking about. The Generation Y, Generation Z, Generation X. Like you look at these memes. Like my dad, Generation X. Like you know, ever seen a meme? I don't know what the show is. Like the kid walks over with the sock, look at the sock, and he's got to stick a nail, and the mommy goes, no. And then the dad goes, no, wait.
Times I told you this. Yes.
And then and the dad goes, do that again now. No, that's 80s dads, like and stuff like that. You know, us kind of millennium dads. Well, you know, kind of like.
I just thought of another funny show, but then again, they made the mistake of continuing with 2.5 Men. 2.5 Men when it was good at the top of its game. Charlie Sheen when he was like.
There was another great one called 8 Simple Rules, and it was John Richards.
Oh yeah.
And then when he died in real life, so they had to have him.
Yeah, they
on
brought
the show.
James Garner in as
And
the granddad.
Yeah, and they did one episode
David Spade.
with no
Yeah,
laughing,
yeah.
no laughter track.
Yeah.
But it actually kind of went downhill a little bit after John Ritter died. Like
It
there
did,
wasn't kind of
Where-
Yeah, they tried it with David
Whereas
Spade.
2.5 Men went completely downhill when Charlie Sheen
Yeah.
left.
But like 2.5 Men was like Charlie Sheen shagging loads of women on a regular basis and getting away with it,
But the relationship between him and Alan was just so
But
funny.
did
The
that go
dynamic
downhill
between
when
the
all
two
the
of them.
Me Too happened? Like in a sense, like the Me Too, or it was a bit like that. Like it was a bit
No, he got fired because he on live TV he
it was drugs.
He-
No, he
He
publicly
he slagged off the creator Chuck Lorre.
Chuck Lorre.
Okay, so
And also it didn't help that Charlie Sheen was like going into fucking clinics and all that and drugs and all, you know.
yeah, so yeah, maybe art imitates life in that way, and a bit like.
Did you like 2.5 Men? So?
I don't think I've ever seen it. Like I might have seen bits on and off.
Yeah, they brought Ashley Kutcher.
Jake was funnier when he was
Oh.
Actually,
pre-teen.
as a child, like
Once
kind
Jake
of,
became like a full-on teenager,
Yeah.
it just wasn't funny
Yeah.
anymore. And also he became very religious as well. Like and he had to be they had to get rid of him because he just he actually slagged the show.
Yeah.
He said like don't watch this, like you
Yeah.
know, it's the devil and all.
Well, there was one show that the Michael J. Fox did and Charlie Sheen,
Spin City.
Spin City. It was very kind of political,
That was
kind of satire. But actually with them, what's the name? The guy from Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was also in Succession.
Yeah.
I think it was
yeah, he was the son, wasn't it? It was like the son. He was the son.
in Succession, but no, but in Spin City he was one of the help. I think he was A to Michael J. Fox, then to Charlie Sheen. Heather Locklear was in as well in the Charlie Sheen one.
She aged very well.
Come on, you need to do some research, Josh.
No, do you know what? Like it's funny, like how like a lot of your life is like you just see the movies, you see the TV shows, and you just picture them so well, like, and it's like you're so connected to them, like.
Yeah.
I don't have that. Like I'm like you know, just my life is so different. Like I remember football. I remember playing football on the street, like with the lads. You know, having.
Well, actually did that
I remember
too.
games more than I think. Like I used to play this game called Atmosphere, and it was a video board game.
I do remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You know. But I remember that. And what was it like?
What was the name of the board
Dream
game?
Phone.
What was the name of the board game with like the castle was Ghost something? That was cool. I never got it. I wanted to buy it.
Was it? No, there was something like that called Goosebumps as well, though that had a castle. But no, Atmosphere was brilliant, and Dream Phone.
Vaguely remember Dream Phone, yeah. And Guess Who, obviously.
Okay, we're probably just going off top.
We're
We're going off topic a bit there. Actually,
Yeah.
one more thing I'm gonna say is these days the lack of longevity in sitcoms is crazy. Bar the last few, especially the last number of years.
Actually,
No sitcom seems to go on beyond season 2, season 3.
But is that because people get bored of it, or
Lack of creative ideas, I think. And ratings is important in
Yeah.
America.
I don't think there's a lack of creative ideas, to be honest. I think maybe because like this is a conversation we had back in the first podcast or the second podcast where we're saying like has Hollywood run out of ideas? Like I don't think it has.
They're not allowed to pursue the storylines they want to in comedies.
But that's a different story as opposed to like
Well, maybe,
running
yeah.
out creative storylines and stuff like that. Like they take the Deadpool and the Wolverine for example. Like that's a Marvel movie. That's creative. That's new. There's loads. I've seen loads of new movies, snippets from movies.
But I
coming out,
think that's the kind of thing where they've kind of retoiled with different things. It kind of does mean that they're kind of running out of ideas.
There's too much rehashing in comedy.
No, but is it because you know this whole kind of the generations like where like you know a lot of producers now or directors or people in situations of authority like are saying no, that's too controversial. Or that's
and maybe that's right. I mean, everyone's
you know because that's what happens generation and stuff
yeah.
like that. Like you know,
everyone's
They'd be looking at a graph as well.
yeah. And more analytical as opposed to like you know.
like us, we're looking at graphs.
Yeah,
Because
because like you know because. I seen the snippet on the Instagram where it was like it was Jackass like and Johnny Knoxville was like Bam Madigan or someone was walking and just had to do quite five and Wee Man goes like high five and then Johnny Knoxville lets it go and he goes whack and Bam goes flying like and like that's the humour we grew up with like you're a different generation so you grew up with different humour like so like Dirty Sanchez we watched and stuff like that you know like so
Tom Green
Tom Green
the stuff that Tom Green did again you would not be allowed to do that on TV today.
But why not though?
Well, I'll tell you why not. There's an episode where Tom Green got diagnosed with testicular cancer, and he films his operation. He gets his friend like Jesus Christ.
Did you watch it?
I think I can't. I think I watch it. But he was taking the piss out.
But they did film Carl Pilkington having
Actually,
a
good point.
prostate.
Good point. Good
exam.
point. Good point.
But these are things that are real because, like, you know, we could, you know, eventually, like, we obviously like long enough, we'll have to get, like, you know, the exam and stuff like that. And I'm sure, Sophie, you have your own woman issues and men issues. We all have
I
men.
never got the exam.
Why are we hiding the fact that we have exams?
No, I know.
Yeah,
We're men.
And men and women, like, we're not going to go through these things. Like, why does it have to be, like, you know, a centre of you? You know, you can't talk about these things. Like, who's stopping us talking about these things? You know?
Yeah.
Well, we're going off topic, so that's.
Well, maybe we're going off topic.
We're going on topic a little bit.
Yeah.
I would say a lot. Another good show from the
You said a lot.
early
People
'90s
have
was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Kind of, everyone remembers Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
Fresh
fair.
Prince.
Well, I know we did talk about.
Jump on it.
We did talk about this. Remember, I was saying a couple of weeks ago when he was saying that Alfonso Barry played Carlton. He was a different show. He was on a before and
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Ribeiro was saying that he knew the show was going to be so successful, and so he told him to play your name. It has to be your character because he knew that he was going to be called Will the whole time. You know what I mean? Will.
You need that dynamic, that kind of chemistry, like.
Two comedies I'd recommend you to watch would be Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm because it's like a darker Seinfeld.
Where can you watch it?
You can watch Seinfeld on Netflix and you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm on Sky.
Okay.
Can I just chime in there?
No.
Two old comedies from the 80s. Obviously, Monty Python's Flying Circus, which had great
You're mad
sketches.
for that. You love that.
Great sketches.
Sketch comedy.
I mean, nobody expects a Spanish Inquisition is probably one of the funniest sketches I've ever seen. You know, it's just, you know.
I'm actually going to mention another comedy from England, Blackadder.
Well, yeah, that's why I was coming to that Blackadder.
Monty Python were the Larry and kind of what's the Seinfeld.
Yeah. It would be, yeah.
Monty Python back in the 80s and they were 70s. They were like the.
They were
the best of the best. Like they were generational.
Was Monty Python the one that sang Always Love
That was Eric Idle.
Yeah.
Life's a polish shit. Okay.
But Blackadder is.
Brilliant show.
I mean, the second season, Rowan Atkinson and Richard Curtis came up with the first season, so they wrote the first season. They brought Ben Elton in. Rowan Atkinson took a back seat in writing, but there is they came up with an episode where how can we make
Blackadder.
Bob a funny word?
Yeah.
And see, Rowan Atkinson has a problem with his B's, so every time he was saying Bob, he would boop.
Okay, yeah.
As he kind of suggested, you know.
But that's creativity. That's art.
Here's one for you. Regarding Blackadder, season 1 I was never a fan of, and the main reason I wasn't a fan of was because of the character of Blackadder. The character was completely different to seasons that went on. He was like a nerdy character.
Well, see, I think they tested it. I saw the actual pilot of it, and I think he was more clever in the pilot. So they must have had a test screening of it, and they thought maybe what would look good.
Because
I'm
a bit skeptical if Blackadder would have been a success if they hadn't gone down the route of changing the character of Rowan Atkinson and Baldrick, his accomplice, if they didn't bring in Ben Elton.
So the dynamic was wrong. So
they changed it around.
Yeah, but that's.
No, but I think it worked.
That's why.
I think season 2 and season 3. Season 3 is actually
Considered the best.
Yeah, considered the best because obviously Hugh Laurie's in here with they brought Hugh Laurie in and they took out Percy, the character of Percy, Tim McGinter. He left, but he came back for the 4th season, which is kind of
was actually
it's considered the one. Sorry. Considered the worst because I think it was too claustrophobic because it was only in one kind of location.
Okay.
So I think it's based on World War One. So it's from 1914 to 19.
Season 3 is the best.
No, season 3 is the best. Considered the best series.
Okay.
That's the one that Bridge region where.
You're saying Blackadder, it's all different different environments or locations.
Different
scenes like a.
Yeah, every season is different century. So the first season is the medieval 14th century, where his dad is becoming the king of. He actually kills the actual current king, Great Richard III. But instead of Henry VII becoming king, his nephew Richard becomes Richard IV, and then the whole dynamic where he's becoming and he's trying to. Baldrick is actually the clever one, so he's kind of giving the advice. And the 4th episode now, where he has to marry to marry this queen for alliance with. So he ends up having to get married to Spanish Infanta, who is
It's very deep. It's very cultural, though,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like it's very clever. Like.
Yeah, Jim Broadbent actually plays plays the Spanish Infanta's interpreter, and when Blackadder sees him, he thinks it's him that's talking, and he's like getting really annoyed.
How old are you when you watch that? Like.
Well, you see, that came out in 1983. I saw it on reruns. Actually,
Same.
When how old are you when you watch it? Like.
like 1990 was when
9, 10, 8 or 9.
9 years old. Yeah. 9 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's mad. Like.
Yeah. With those episodes, I mean,
The favourite episode was actually the dictionary episode.
Oh no, yeah,
It's
the
just
first
too funny.
with Robert Coltrane. He plays Dr. Johnson, who's the actual. He wrote the dictionary, but Balder. Someone burns the dictionary. Well, they think they burned the dictionary. Balder puts it in the fire,
Little twist.
and so Blackadder has to rewrite the whole dictionary, and
But he's coming up with like
yeah.
A, and then there's a line that goes, it doesn't mean anything, does it?
Yeah.
What I liked about Blackadder as well, they brought actors play different characters in each season.
So we had that look as like we're like they're either like geniuses or like movie buffs or
Like season 2, Miranda Richardson plays the Queen Elizabeth II.
Yeah.
I know she's supposed to be kind of ruthless in it, but she plays it so childlike.
Very, very childlike.
Childlike, like kind of, and she's in love with Blackadder, so.
And Rick Mail plays
Rick Mail.
a very good character.
Flash-
Lord
Flash-
Flashcard, he's
Flash-
absolutely off the wall.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like the stuff he says, like,
Yeah.
Where can you watch this? So where would you watch Blackadder? Is there any show, any Netflix?
know.
It's repeated a lot in gold.
Yeah,
You used to
it's
be
gold,
on
yeah,
gold.
yeah.
Oh, so
Is it on?
Sky.
Is it on? Is it on Sky or Prime?
Yeah, DVD or kind of.
Yeah, you
probably can get on DVD, yeah.
Actually, I might have season 3. Season 3.
Well, no, people want to watch it.
I think
like,
Sophie wants to talk about it. She's told another show that she liked, which
What?
lasted 5 seasons. You can watch it on Netflix. Sophie, go.
Oh yeah, no, I loved Friday Night Dinner, but it was just interesting because actually the second episode of the first season was actually meant to be the pilot. 'Cause
Oh, I didn't
we
know that.
noticed- Yeah, because
Yeah.
we noticed Jim, he sounds a lot different,
Yes.
and he's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah, yeah, yeah.
less kind of weird or something. So that was actually meant to be the pilot, but they went with the sofa episode as the pilot.
That's very interesting.
Also, sorry, I actually thought of 2 shows there. Sorry,
Just 1 second, sorry, just in the middle of Friday Night Dinner. Very sad story of Friday Night Dinner. The main actor, the guy who played the dad, he died of cancer there a few years ago.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
well, it's not really because
Oh,
The
Yeah,
actor,
snagging,
not
snagging.
the character.
Sorry.
he was
No,
also
no, Friday Night
Ritter,
Dinners.
Paul Ritter, was it?
And obviously in between us,
Yeah, that's right. I was coming.
Yeah,
That's right,
Inbetweeners is the best.
I was coming to that. Actually, yes. That spawned 2 movies. Can you believe?
Yeah.
First movie was good. Second movie.
I wish they came back and just did a special.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be good to see where they are.
I mean, Will. I mean, he's another one who gets into this kind of situations.
Will's very
I mean,
similar.
the exam where he's doing the exam and he,
Yeah, shits himself like with the energy drinks and stuff
Yeah.
like
Phil.
Friend. And then somebody jumps on the car? Who's the man that jumps on the car? He gets really annoyed.
No, I remember when he says bus wanker.
Yeah, the guy gets annoyed and he
Yeah.
starts giving out to them.
Bus wanker.
And obviously the IT crowd.
Very- very-
this is
very-
from the creators
Switch it on and
of.
off.
Huh?
No, it's just- they just switch it on
IT
and off.
crowd was very funny.
Yeah.
Matt Berry, his career started off really.
Yeah. I mean, he is just.
Did you watch IT crowd, Sophie?
I did. You told me to watch it.
Oh, I did. Jesus, I remember that. Yeah, I was going to say, there's not really many great sketch shows out these days.
What's the difference between a sketch show and a sitcom though? Like,
Well,
Sketch shows different kind of vox pops, kind of
Yeah.
like different quick kind of different types of scenarios.
so,
like-
okay,
characters.
sketch show. Oh, so okay.
Well, there's one kind of show that was kind of a satire kind of comedy show, Spitting Image, where they kind
Yeah, I
of
watched
was
Spitting Image at a
funny,
young age
where they
again.
kind of did puppet versions of real life people. So they had like Tony Blair when he just before he became Prime Minister, they had him because he was young, very young. They actually had him as a child in the actual
did,
sketch.
yeah.
The sketch, and he goes, he's actually. There's one scene where he's John Major says, he goes, "I'm going to be Prime Minister." He's like 12-year-old, looks like 12-year-old. I'm going to be Prime Minister in a few weeks, so you better get in that house. And they actually John Major in a blue kind of face, where Norma is asking him, "More peas, John." Like I know he's like he's a big fan. I don't know if he's, but that's the kind of one of the sketches where they're having dinner. He said,
Everyone had to watch the Harry Enfield and Jones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Harry,
Kevin the Teen
Kevin,
is
yeah.
just.
I finally where that original where he becomes. Remember, I think you showed it to me where
He's like, happy birthday, he's really hyper.
Yeah,
12-year-old,
because he's 12 and he's becoming 13, and then he suddenly changes his dynamic. With, he was like, yeah, he's like, oh, and then he changes, and then the parents go, oh no, he's becoming a teenager.
Did anyone remember the Fast Show that came out in '95?
No.
I love Trigger Happy TV.
Yeah, Trigger Happy TV. So simple. It got it worked. Do you remember? Hello, I'm in a library. I'm on a boat. Sorry, I'm on a boat.
Jeez, we talked about sitcoms. I hope you're not.
Does anyone want to talk about something new?
we talked about the Olympics, week.
Did anyone watch it?
Anyone watch the Olympics? I mean, no, I don't
I
think.
watched the opening ceremony, which was a bit hit and miss, to be honest.
So what do you think of the opening ceremony? Like,
Yeah, it was
So what do you think of the Last Supper and the Dionysus stuff? Like, what do you think of that? Like,
deep, isn't it?
what was the relevance of it?
I don't know. And like there was a big Smurf guy going around.
Dionysus is like
Probably an avatar.
It's a drunken Greek god. He's like the god of partying and stuff like that. Like,
Someone actually put on Twitter a comparison between 2014's Olympics opening ceremony and the one there on Friday, and it was
2020,
Well, it was-
21,
No, 2014.
2012.
12,
And it was
2012.
just dancing, it was normal.
The London,
It
2012.
seemed like a bit of political, not political. It seemed like it didn't make relevance to France. Or it just,
No, it didn't.
It just seemed, you know.
No. Did anyone watch any of the games?
I watched the
I
swimming,
watched,
yes, I think.
some of it. I watched the rowing and the kayaking and watched the swimming. But I loved the part of the opening ceremony where the horse was going up the Seine. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was
I
cool,
loved
actually.
it. And Celine Dion, of course.
Missed that, yeah.
Lady Gaga was there as well.
I just want to chime in there. You want to get tickets for Hamilton, you won't be able to. It's all sold out.
What's the point of that if they're all sold out?
I know. I'm sorry. Just if you want
Nick
to.
has tickets for Hamilton, so you want to go with Nick? He has a spare ticket.
I don't have a spare ticket.
You don't have a spare ticket?
No.
No. Right, folks. So we call it a day now.
How long have we gone?
I don't know. We can check the camera. We're closest to it, Nick. So just go
Nah.
behind the camera and see what it says.
Check there, Nick.
Hoping I'm not so good.
We're
Sorry.
gonna boss the check. Many minutes we on.
Still on time.
And also, have we done 20 minutes? 37 minutes.
For
Okay.
a few minutes. For a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, we're still going to continue.
Any plans for the rest of the week, guys?
I'm hoping to get back to jiu-jitsu tomorrow.
Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
And what are we doing on Friday?
Oh,
Listen, it's my birthday. I'm 42. Woo!
I just want to say, actually, just give you a bit of a preview for next week. It's Bank Holiday, and we're doing my top 10 or top movies.
Your top 10, only your top 10?
Well, me and Nick are going to be coming up with them.
Oh yeah, we'll go top 10. But there's so many. I've just
So
seen
many.
so many. It's hard to put a
Well,
list.
I had two I wanted on the list. And I
Yeah.
told you that. I'll tell you afterwards the two I wanted on
But
the
we
list.
can never do. We can all do top 10. We can have we can all do.
We could all do, but that might be
No,
important.
two people, one person
Do
does
you
it.
know what
But
we
we
could?
help.
Do you know what we could do? We could come up with we could have a sheet with our top 10 top 10 nominees, like, or something.
Yeah.
And then we debate over the
Yeah,
conversation.
exactly,
So
yeah,
we
yeah,
do
of
that,
course.
like, and then we figure it out then. And that's
Yeah.
So I figured that out on the podcast, opposed to like just rounding it off, like,
Yeah.
you know, a potential top 10 movies, like, and then we argue the point to see if we can match, you know.
Sophie, you're getting back to the gym soon, aren't you?
Yeah, I was technically allowed back a couple of weeks ago, but I'm still in the catching everything after the septicemia. So
Yeah.
just want to give myself a little while to build back up. But I'm very excited though about getting back to the gym.
Once you're in there, you'll just be a new person again.
Yeah, no,
You love
exactly.
it. She loves it so much.
I do. But I'm
Same as myself.
slowly getting used to like the feeling within my knee, like after the ACL. Like I'm just
The
it still
pain
feels
and the
like,
stiffness is kind of subsiding a little bit.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
still kind of feels like an elastic band.
Okay.
It's tight though. It's good.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. That was tight,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. That's stability, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're still going back to comedies. Do you know another two shows? Oh, sorry. Modern Family.
One of them was
Which
excellent.
bits of it, yeah.
Which I actually thought, instead the creator was Christopher Lloyd, and I was thinking, that can't be said. It's actually a different Christopher Lloyd. And I was always thinking it was Christopher Lloyd, the actor who was
Can I
created.
guess the other one? Arrested Development. Is that the one you're thinking of?
No, the other one was No, the other one I was thinking of, it wasn't it was married, the same one with Married with Children, but the other couple
Married
with
with
Children.
Now, some of the stuff that they did in that, there's no way a comedy could do that these days.
I mean, Christine Applegate, and who
David Faustina played Bud.
no, but who the parents again?
Katie
Seagal and Al Bundy.
Al Bundy, yeah.
No, Al Bundy, that was
Ed O'Neill.
Ed
And
O'Neill.
do you know, he's actually a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. Ed O'Neill's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's good.
Yeah.
I think we'll call it a day, guys.
I've been trying talking now.
Yeah, no, we can still. I think we can still continue.
Yeah, but no. So look, well, we have to think of the audience. We have to think of the audience. Will they want to listen to us? Like, I mean, they're already tuned out by now. Anyway, if they want to. So we could just talk.
With Kieran back, I think they're about to tune in when he started talking.
So let's break it down. The sitcoms. So the sitcoms, and then we have. What were you saying about there was ad lib? What do you have like?
That was the mockumentary style sitcoms. A lot of them was ad lib. Well, Curb Enthusiasm was definitely ad lib. Stuff like The Office was definitely, I think, more scripted.
The Office was ad lib, was it?
No, it was more scripted.
More scripted.
More scripted. Curb Enthusiasm, The Office, Arrested Development, Modern Family. The Larry Sanders Show, which was like a spoof talk show, that was 1992 started. That's very, very funny.
Was that about like you was being 8 and 9 and watching these shows? Like
I was 14 when I started watching Seinfeld and Larry Sanders.
I mean, what was your Blackadder when you were
9 or 10, 8 or 9.
Well, no, because I have older siblings and they were the ones who got me into it.
I'm the same way. My older brothers got me into Blackadder.
Okay.
And Seinfeld.
There's
No. Actually, one Christmas, this is how bad of my sisters got me, my brother and my sister, with the 5 of us, and the box select for the 3 of us, not one each, 2
Are you the youngest sibling?
Yeah.
You're the youngest sibling? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you the youngest?
I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how we knew all this. You know, we learned from our siblings, the older siblings.
Well, so I never learned that because I'm the oldest in my family, my siblings.
Of course, yeah.
I learned different things.
Yeah. So that's how we know.
Did that Ripper?
No, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me. It was Kieran.
It was. I swear my mother's life. It was Nick.
Stop. Even like, do you anyone? No. Remember everyone actually one. I know what I'm saying. Another show we do. I know we said that. Golden Girls. I know. I mean,
never really got into the Golden Girls.
Golden Girls was.
Yeah.
I mean,
the team cheer was pretty fun.
Yeah, I used to watch that Friday nights when I was younger. I think the same with the siblings were kind of what. I mean that was a good show. Like they all have who's Betty White. I think she passed away just recently. Like I mean she was probably the funniest thing. She played Rose and she was kind of.
Actually, going back to Full House, Nick, they brought it back.
Fuller House, yeah.
Didn't do great with the critics.
What?
Didn't do very well.
No, you know, last of 5 seasons. Yeah.
They still did quite well. Like and they did touch on some sensitive topics as well. Yeah.
In Fuller House.
Yeah.
When was that? What year was that? Like was that 90s or late 90s?
That was Fuller House was only about 5.
2016, 2020.
That's interesting. That's a different generation, isn't it? Like that's a different generation. So like. Well, we were like I don't remember.
Well, they also took
sense of like.
They didn't come back for this. They were asked.
Spoiled brats or something.
They were asked to come. No, they were asked to come back, but they didn't want to. And actually, in the first episode, they made a joke that they were in Paris. No, that Michelle was in Paris on a fashion, and then they looked at the camera because actually she's big into fashion now. The older twins.
That's your one, the witch in Marvel, isn't it? Like.
That's their
third
sister.
Yeah, the younger sister, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Witch.
Yeah.
So they were great in a movie. Oh, what was it called?
It Takes Two.
And,
Steve Guttenberg and Kirstie Alley.
Yeah.
Who was in Cheers.
Does anyone actually follow Steve Guttenberg on Instagram? It's absolutely brilliant.
I don't think I've seen Guttenberg.
He played Mahoney in the Police Academy.
Who made Steve Guttenberg?
He's very upbeat about it. He gets up at 5:30 every morning just wants to enjoy life. Yeah, he just really just wants. He's every day he's like saying, "What will I give to the world today?"
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. I follow him.
Did you watch it? What time do you watch it? At 5:30 in the morning?
No.
Waking up?
No.
Did we touch on another show, Will and Grace?
Will and Grace.
Which is
again, I couldn't never get into it.
I mean, that was kind of the first sitcom where it was kind of the kind of gay guy and
Will.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Will.
obviously Nick's a big fan of Friends. One
Friends.
show which I couldn't read. No, not for me.
Friends?
No, it's too.
I mean, it was our generation, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
It was like I watched Seinfeld before Friends.
I think the Ross and Rachel breakup was like a big.
Yeah, I know, it was the biggest. And actually, there was a in the fourth season where Ross says the wrong name. It was actually they actually had some. It was a kind of a mistake on his part. It wasn't. It was.
Oh, so it wasn't scripted like
No,
you
it wasn't.
said. Okay.
No, but the whole that was scripted, but the actual idea wasn't scripted. Whereas he called Rachel his wife in a scene later on or something like, or prior, and he said, "Oh, we'll put that in." You know what I mean? Just because I think what happened was she, the actress who played Emily, she couldn't do the show anymore in season 5 because she got pregnant, so she couldn't. So that's why, because it was supposed to be, Emily was supposed to come back for a couple more episodes in season 5.
Right, is that all she wrote, folks?
I think so.
What do you? You made some.
Sorry, I'm on Twitter.
Tony's on and that one on the show.
I'm on Twitter.
Okay, I might do a poll and think, do we really need Kieran to come back to that?
I added a lot to it.
No, you didn't.
I'm trying to think.
Well, actually, we'll ask the audience.
We'll ask the audience.
Yeah. We'll ask the
We
audience.
replace Kieran with Sophie.
Yeah.
Austin, Nick, and Sophie.
Right.
I guess. You can be the guest.
Okay. Right, we're gonna call it a day, folks.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
See you next week.
Bye. See you next week.
Oh yeah, I think that might work.
So will this go on Spotify? Or YouTube?
YouTube.
Actually, no, good question. I don't even know if you ever go on.
Oh, you didn't record it?